You're the most beautiful, funny, loving girl I've ever met. You're perfect. But I want to see if I can try and find someone better.
Never stop looking.
See? Who says a shrimp size couldn't fill your mouth?
A young lady pulled her pants down. She said she wanted me to eat the groceries, you know. And I was going to do it, but the thing is, she had some tissue in her butt. It was tissue on both sides. It was surrounding the butthole. And I just said, you know, it didn't stink or nothing, but just the sight of tissue let me know she didn't wash it real good. So I decided to pass on eating the groceries.
I've come to the conclusion that men don't really want baddies. They want Britneys. They want Brendas. They want a regular bitch. Hoodie, sweatpants, looking homeless. They want her. They don't want you when you looking bad. Why is that?
Man, when they're looking bad, they certainly looking like trouble to me now. But when I was younger, you couldn't stop me from chasing them down.
Let me set the record straight. Building does not mean that a man is paying all your bills. Just because it starts with bill doesn't mean bills. Building is not paying bills. That man ain't gonna never get ahead. You and that man ain't gonna never get ahead if you're trying to get him to pay all your bills. You got the same 2 feet. You got the same 2 arms. You got the same 2 legs. Get your feet and beat that straight. Get your shit together.
I hate when guys approach me. Why? Because I don't want to be bothered. Like, clearly, I'm doing something. Go away. Okay, so I guess you meet guys online then? Ew, no, what kind of creep stalks my IG and DMs me? Oh, okay, so you approach the guys then. What? Why would I ever date a guy who didn't have the confidence to approach me? But you just said you hate when guys approach you. Yeah, only when I'm clearly doing something. Plus, those guys are always super awkward anyway. How is a guy supposed to know when you're clearly doing something? And yeah, of course he's going to be a little bit awkward. He's starting a conversation out of thin air with a girl who may or may not be attracted to him and may or may not be busy. I mean, just approach me at a bar or a club. That's when I tend to meet guys. You mean when you're drunk and impulsive? Yeah. How do those relationships tend to go?
I just have a quick question for everyone. How am I expected to lose weight when I'm not used to losing? I stay winning, bitch. What's going on?
So I wanted to do a Spidey cosplay last night, but everybody's like, haha, waiting for the queef. So I made a video. What, do you guys want me to come in like this? Like, can I just post a thirst trap without being like, let one rip? Anyways.
Damn, who annihilated her clapper? Jesus. That's some wild stuff. Enough internet for one day, probably enough internet for a whole fucking week.
I remember when I lost my mind.
At age 5, you go to school, and school is fun because you make friends, but school is hard because they give you homework. And those things turn into a job. Maybe that job becomes a career someday, and before you know it, you've learned quite a few things. You've met quite a few people. Maybe you find someone or a group of people you want to spend your time with, and your life is looking pretty great, but it's looking pretty full. You see, one thing grown-ups are always good at is remembering to fill our calendars. And one thing we're terrible at is leaving enough room for wonder. To be okay with not having it all figured out, and that's all I ask of you tonight. It's not going to take much effort, just a little shift in your perspective. But if you're willing to play, I promise you, it will be fun. But most importantly, you will find that in the midst of all that great stuff, it is still quite possible to leave yourself just enough room for wonder. And if you're willing to go on the journey with me tonight, well, then I'm going to try to show you some things that before tonight maybe seemed impossible.
Making a salad right now out of a Big Mac.
You gotta be shitting me, Joker.
Big Mac and French fry salad. I'm on a health journey, and tonight I'm making a healthy choice. I got this salad maker. This isn't junk food, this is healthy.
Y'all, so this man just walked up to me and said I look like a #1 from McDonald's. I ain't know how to respond to that, but I'm feeling pretty good about it. Pretty decent. Country hoes up 2000. Come to take all that little man Social Security cheating.
So does he mean like the salad or the burger? She kind of looking like a McFlurry to me. Supersized.
I've been asked out tonight on a date. I was at the gas station and I was wearing my shirt. I told him, give me 10 minutes. I'll be right back. And I'll be right and ready for you. Okay. So how I'm going to do my hair, and I wanted everyone to just see how I crimp my hair. So how you do it is you count. You do a little beat. You do a little beat like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Get creative with it.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
3, 4, and 1. Dos, tres, and cuatro.
Sort of looks like Bert from Bert and Ernie, but who the hell's taking this thing out on a date?
Train yourself to let stupid people win arguments. Like, isn't that a great concept? I know the idea of it makes sense, right? Train yourself to let stupid people win arguments. If you're arguing with stupid people, you're never going to win. Like, you've got common sense, they don't. You're rational, they're not. You have a better understanding of the topic, they don't. They're emotional, and they're going to constantly spew out stupidity.
Yeah, this is something that I've used in my life quite a bit. It's like I try to assess the mentality of the person I'm dealing with. And, well, if they're acting like a 12-year-old, then I really, don't argue with them too much. I sort of realize they're never going to get it before I even get into getting into it. So, it's important to try to really think about who you're dealing with, save yourself a lot of time.
Unfortunately, they are not snap-ins. Ew, I got some spit. I had to do a soft liner on it immediately because I have such small gums.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
But I love them.
Last year, I went very, very viral because I was selling my farts in a jar. And unfortunately, I was hospitalized because I got a little bit overzealous and was producing too many farts and ended up in the emergency room because I thought I was having a heart attack, but it turned out to just be gas pains. So I made about $200,000 selling my farts in the jar, but I was forced into an early retirement.
If you're one of the guys that contributed to the $200,000 profit, shame on you. Nasty ham man. Alright, I was down at the pet store and they pulled out this gigantic Jerusalem cricket, and then I let it crawl on me by force.
Look at my mandibles. Don't pretend you're not impressed.
It's a Jerusalem cricket?
Yeah.
I ain't touching that thing.
Your snake will probably bite you harder than that.
Oh
Yeah.
my lord, I'm doing it. His feet feel weird. That's crazy. What is this thing? Unbelievable. What planet did I land on?
I come in peace.
Alright, y'all. Let's see what I got for you today. At the end of one of these, I had said, to be thankful for everything we have, even though, as a human, no matter how much we have, we'll always want more. And in that one, I had said that I had a couple of properties and 6 cars and stuff like that. And, well, a couple of people were like, how could that be? Or, are you a trust fund baby? Or how did it happen? So I just want to take a moment to explain it to you guys, real quick. My whole life I've been an entrepreneur, so I'm just going to talk about the last about 5 years. And we all have our ups and downs. As a man, you're going to be forced to reinvent yourself, especially how you make money, more than likely in your life, and you're going to have to take it in stride. It cannot ruin you. So I've had plenty of businesses I did good, economy changed, different things happened, my business partners act crazy, and I lost them. So then I had to restart and do it again. So in this last one, what happened was I decided I wanted to move to the beach, so I got a roommate. No big deal. If you get a roommate, you could afford it on like any job. And we were splitting all the bills. And then I started this business over here with, chartering people in the bay on boats. And my business partner started acting a fool. And he went down to the place where we had a contract at the dock and acted like shit, and we lost our contract. So I lost the whole business because of his bad behavior. So what I did was I fell back on what I normally did, and I went and worked for a place called Nathan Engineering, and I was, doing heavy equipment operating, and we were doing dirt compaction and making pads for houses and big ass projects and compacting dirt. So, while I was doing that, I didn't want to do it forever. So I thought to myself, what are you going to do? And so I was looking online all the time, and I found this job I could have because I lived at the beach, and it was with this Bird scooter company, and I could be the mechanic on the scooters, and they paid you like $15 a scooter. So I literally fucking did it, and I was making like $5,000 to $8,000 a month because I was right there. I could get 1 million of these things. Then I went down to the pet store, and I realized that they didn't have wood. And when I was a kid, I didn't sandblast. I water blasted the wood for a guy up in the Bay Area, and he sold it to pet stores. So I sort of knew about the hustle. So I went over to a pet store, and I didn't even know the owner. And I asked him, what's up with the wood? And he told me this old guy had quit, and that if I sandblasted wood, that, I could make that money. So I only had like $7,000 on a credit card. So I asked the guy, if I went up and got wood and spent all the $7,000, would you at least buy the wood off me that I had bought? And he said, yeah. So I took the last $7,000 I had, went up north and got a shit ton of wood and came down. I started water blasting it, but people wanted it sandblasted. So I had to figure out how to sandblast it. And over the course of time, what had to happen was you can't sandblast at the beach. So I had to get another property. And as I had the other property, I realized I wanted to figure out ways to make that property and make me more money. So I started renting out containers and parking spots. And when you see the videos, you can see the containers and the cars and stuff around. It's because I've rented out places on the property. So eventually I realized that if I got a 4-bedroom house that had like a barn and a shop and fucking 10 acres and all this shit, it was like 50 miles from the beach. And what I would do is I would rent the spots, like an RV for $300, a boat for $200. So I parked like 15 different things, like RVs, boats, or trailers in the corner of a 10-acre property, and I covered all the rent at both the places. So it's not that I'm like, my dad's dead and I'm responsible for my mom. So I moved my mom into the country house, and she doesn't have to pay rent at all. But the way that I did it was that I started out with a roommate. I always looked for an opportunity that would pay me a lot more than an hourly wage typically. And I was always an entrepreneur, so I'd start businesses. And that's what happened in my life for the last 5 years. And in San Diego, I have 2 properties. I have to have multiple cars because the sandblasting business, we get wood. We have to have like work trucks and all this type of stuff. And well, that's what happens when your business takes off. Your tax advisor literally tells you, if you don't buy a truck or you don't buy a trailer or something, then you're going to have to pay it in taxes. So you got to buy a trailer, a tractor, a truck, another truck. It's pretty crazy. So, yeah, man. Out here in San Diego, you can go from the beach, Mission Beach, to Alpine in less than 50 minutes, and it's fucking insane different. It's literally beach to country immediately. And, man, it's crazy how profitable a parking lot could be. Our population here is so high that if you're just on the outskirts of town and you have a little bit of space, you can easily rent out spots in your driveway for RVs and things that people can't park in residential areas very easily. So, yeah, I guess that's sort of the long and short of it for the last 5 years at least. So, man, go out there and make it happen, guys, and just stack one hustle on top of the other. I'm also breeding snakes, doing YouTube. I have a rat hustle where we sell rats to the pet store like livestock, and I'm renting out the shipping containers. Like, I do so much different shit for money, I forget. But yeah, I guess that's the long and short of it. So I just want to kind of explain it to you because it's not outside of your reach. That's the point. I'm not a fucking genius. I just like figured like, oh, I got this spot. I could rent it out for parking. Like, so could you. So think about it. All right, guys. Always appreciate y'all tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe. And we go see you on the next one.